Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. That's what I believe. We did a review.
Fucking Leatherface. Is that what your chainsaw sounds like?
Yeah.
It needs gas.
It's broken. I got it at the Dollar Tree. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. We never saw this movie before when we watched it.
We're fucktards.
Okay, a group of people aimlessly are fucking in a van going in the middle of nowhere, and they pick up a hitchhiker, and it turns out that there's this crazy fucking family and all this weird shit's happening, and then there's a slasher movie where this guy who wears people's faces comes out and kills everybody with a big fucking hammer, and then with a chainsaw.
Yeah, and it also goes back to that whole thing, is like, you know, because they didn't mention the slaughterhouse. It's like when you hit somebody in the head when you hit the cow in the head, they kind of struggle around, but you got to do it right, and then it's the more humane way. And that actually is the theme, because that's how Leatherface kills him. He hits him in the fucking head with a sledgehammer. So they were big slaughterhouse.
That gun don't work.
They don't do it, goddamn. You think they're gonna come after us? I mean, I don't think they will, do you?
Yeah. So you got this crew. One guy's in a wheelchair, and he's just kind of off. I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
mental thing or what, but he's just kind of off.
Well, the intro to that didn't say. It just said invalid brother. So
yeah,
I would just think that he was in a
this
wheelchair.
is back in the day. And this is a weird time in movies. Like the whole hippie movement was happening, and then like the Manson murders happened, and then things start to get dark. It's like fucking dark hippies.
You know what? Some hippie probably went to the theater and saw it high as fuck, and it's like, dude, they're gonna pick up the hitchhiker. That's so righteous of them. And then they're watching, like, dude, we're never picking up hitchhikers again, man. It's like we just get at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's like peace and love and flowers, and then all of a sudden it's covered in fucking murders and death. And
It's so different though how it is though. They were driving that little fucking like beach band from the 1975 Mentos commercial.
Scooby-Doo band.
Yeah, the Scooby-Doo band, and they're driving on the road, and they're like, hey man, there's a hitchhiker, should we pick him up? Like, yeah, let's do it. And then like, I don't know, he looks fucking weird.
Like, first, why would you pick up
I don't know.
guy? That guy was freaky as shit.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I know they shouldn't remake these movies anymore, they've done enough of them, but if they did make a genuine remake of this movie, not the 2003 one, I swear to God, they should make that hitchhiker James Franco. He'd be
I can see that, yeah.
perfect, dude, because he's so weird. But that guy's fucking, he's like, yeah, man, I just got this I'll take your picture, that'll be $3. And then, like, he fucking just pulls out a knife in the middle of their fucking van and starts just cutting himself.
Well, if a guy looked like that with a fucked up face and shit, and he had a razor blade, the first thing I would have done, he was like, I was like, I give him my smile, and then he was like, that's $1. I was like, here you go. I was like, just give him the fucking $1. And then I thought it was funny, like, when he was freaked out when they were trying to run him out of the band, he just freaked out. He's like, I have enough stuff. He started like fucking slashing that guy. It's like he didn't know what to do with it. He wanted to do something. He like slashed that Jerry guy's arm. He's like, eee! It was funny because the guy wouldn't even do anything.
That's what made this movie so fun. That was the exact epitome of what made this movie so fucking creepy. Because all this weird shit's happening. You don't know why it's happening. It's just fucking banana sandwich, and it's weird. And then they pick up this guy who's sitting around.
But I don't understand. Like,
fucking stabs the guy in the arm, dude. He just like reaches over and stabs him.
He like cuts his.
And he's like, oh!
Well,
He shoots the fuck out.
There's two things that happen. One thing, he takes that guy's knife and he starts fucking slicing his own hand, and they're all just like, oh my god, he's crazy. I was like, by that time, somebody should have fucking like Liu Kang drop kicked his ass out of the van, but nobody did anything. And then when they're cutting that, Kano, but you know,
some guy.
Rachel
Cage.
Sub-Zero. But anyway, I just don't understand. They just sit there and let that guy do that. So I guess, okay, they're freaked out because he still has a knife, so they don't want to like really. But when he gives it back, at that point, he's like, check please. So they should have pulled over by then. But then, it even makes no sense to me. It makes zero sense to me. It's like,
you fucking slow boy.
God help it, that fucking slaughterhouse got my man all jubilee boobily.
Slaughterhouse.
But yeah, it's 4. The movie called Slaughterhouse. Anyway, but when the guy starts cutting on that poor guy in the wheelchair, nobody does a fucking thing. They're just like, and that guy's like, it's like, I guess if somebody was peeing on you, you're just so shocked. You're like, what's happening? But you know, but even like let the fucking guy with the open shirt that looks like he listens to friggin' like Billy Squire, like do something. Like just don't let that poor guy get cut. And then he just runs out of the van on his own. And it's like the guy had just a slow reaction. Like the rest of the guys in the van were like, like going to punch him and he's already gone.
It's like Tobe Hooper had no script for this movie though. It's like when the guys chase the van, he's rubbing blood on it, and not just him, but Jerry also did it at one point. There was like 5 different points in the movie where someone was just like.
I like that.
I don't have a script here. Just make something up. He's like.
He's like, that's brilliant! But that guy looked like the epitome of a crack whore or something. Like, he was so, I like the slaughterhouse. You know how they do that? It's like, watch this. Do you have a hit? But so that goes from there, and then they wind up at a gas station. They're trying to go visit their Jerry and his sister's father's
property. That was
and they want to go visit. You know, first off, they were making every kind of movie mistake before movie mistakes, I guess, were known. But they were all going to this old abandoned house next door to these, or out in the wilderness, in the middle of nowhere. They go to that gas station. I think that was funny. The guy kept going back and forth to the car. That one dude was washing the window, and he kept like picking up the bucket and like washing. He's like, fuck. He's like, fuck. But then the guy was like, you all don't want to be wandering around the house like that because them girls don't want to go. Go have some barbecue. That's what you got to do.
That's freaky because you could actually see that happen. Maybe it's where we're in Kentucky, but I could picture going to the gas station and be like, you know, these pretty ladies y'all got right here don't want to be going to no creepy house. Why don't I just stay here and have some barbecue?
I would say, lady, you're scaring us. You like those sloppy joes. So, and then they finally wind up at this house. They're all, but I mean, that's when I really did start feeling bad for the guy in the wheelchair. Yes, he was annoying and he's fucking whatever, but they leave him alone and they're like, he's trying to get up that little ramp and he can't do it because he's fat and he's got a wheelchair. And he's like, Sally! He's like, Sally! And I was like, God, just help the poor fucking brother out. And then he's like feeling all depressed, like everybody's just having a good fucking time with me. And he's like,
he's gonna come back?
He's like, I don't think he will. I like that when they all ran away and he's like in the van too. And it was just him and his sister. He's like, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna honk the horn one more time. Then we're gonna go town, okay? We're gonna go town. That's what we're gonna do. But I mean, I did feel bad for him, and I kind of hoped it was gonna be like a silver bullet moment to where the guy in the wheelchair actually is the survivor with the girl. But I had seen the trailers for it, so I knew he wasn't. But I was like, I don't know.
Well, finally, after like so much meandering and bullshit, which is one of the only things wrong with this. But I love this fucking movie, by the way. But one of the only things wrong with it is just so much like pointless. Like, we're gonna go swimming. I'm gonna sit here. Like, but when you get to it, they finally go to the fucking house, and I guess they set it up that way to be so jarring. He just walks in this room, and all of a sudden, fucking Leatherface comes out and hits him with a fucking hammer, and it's so fucking grainy and like
gritty,
realistic feeling. Like, it's so fucking freaky.
Well, did you notice that they don't even have really a music cue for it? It was usually, if it really happened, he just like steps out of the fucking like slaughterhouse area and then just hits the guy in the fucking head and he's like all shaking and shit.
Oh, that dude, I mean, the acting was nothing in this movie. It was, except for the family, they were fucking crazy. Yeah. But that guy did a good job fucking dying. Where he was shaking and shit like that, that was really just unsettling and unnerving.
And when he came out, and the second time he came out with that other girl was coming to look for her boyfriend, it was funny because you saw Leatherface goes, oh, he scared me. Like, he started like, whoops!
You know there was like no fucking blood in that movie? Like, think about it. When he sets her on the hook, like, you don't see it. Originally they wanted to show it, and the production designer was like, no, I think it'll have more impact if you don't see it. And it did. It was fucking weird.
Well, that was the thing. I mean, they knew how to use the music effectively. They knew how to use the shoot the scenes and make it that really grindhouse effect that they were going for, so it worked overall. But the one thing I will say, I didn't give a fuck about any of the characters.
Nah.
Like, I didn't care. Other than the wheelchair guy, at certain points in the movie, I wish he'd been in it a lot longer, because I actually liked him. I thought he was funny as fucking annoying, but I was hoping he'd be a little hero. I just didn't care, because they were all, like, fucking stupid, and they were absorbed, and I don't know, I just didn't care about it.
I will say, though, that this, if you do get this, I don't know if the other one has it or not, or which ones have it, but there's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Shocking Truth documentary. So much awesome shit in this. It's like when you're watching Ted, and he's like, hey man, come over here, I got the Cheers box set, and they're all talking shit about each other. It's like that. This is supposed to be one of those fucked up productions of all fucking time. The production designer is one of the main guys on there, and they were talking about how it happened. They actually had dead animal carcasses in that house, and it was like 100-some degrees, and it stank, and people were getting sick, and they had like 24-hour shoots in that little house and shit like that, and it was really fucked up. But they said that when the one guy runs in the room, they purposely didn't show him what Leatherface looked like, because they wanted it to be scary. So they set up the film, and they had a guy sitting there to when Leatherface pulled out and hits him, he pulls him by the belt, knocks him down to make it look realistic, and they said when Leatherface got there and popped out, it's like the guy ran out of the room. He got so scared he ran out of the room. And that's what this movie does to you. It fucking scares you. It's actually fucking scary because when Leatherface, it's like, it's what pop-up scares are meant to be. Yeah. Because like when she's pushing Jerry through the fucking woods, and he comes out of that bush and he's just like up in the camera, it scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah, well, I think it was I mean, they went with the disturbing aspect of it. That's really what got me. I really didn't get scared of the pop-up stuff. It's just the disturbing nature of the whole thing. Like, overall, generally, you're just like, this is fact. That. You know, and I know Tobe Hooper, he knew what he was doing. He knew exactly how to shoot these scenes to get that kind of jarring reaction from people, because it was like disgusting and nasty, and you're like, I need to go to church after this and pop a Tic Tac for good measure. Because after you're done watching, you're like, God damn, what if that happened? You're like, sunshine and rainbows for me today. And then, but you know, I don't know.
Skittles.
You know, I felt like fucking Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura 2 when he's inside the rhino and the fan dies. I was like, gotta get some oxygen. I felt like that because there's just all this shit coming at you. And the one scene that, like, is like Tobe Hooper figured out how to shoot a panic attack anxiety. When they're shooting the girl's face and her eyeballs and shit, she's like, and the camera's like this, you're like, oh! And you're like, I'm having a panic attack, for fuck's sake, because it's all this fucking sensory overload.
And then you know the scene in Training Day where he leaves Ethan Hawke with, with those...
Packing the fudge guys.
Gangbangers. Yeah, and he's like, you ever had your shit pushed in?
No, I haven't.
got too bad. The unsettlingness of that times like a million when they're fucking with her and he brings out the grandpa who's just like... He puts his finger in her fucking mouth. That's so fucking nasty.
He sucks on her blood, which I didn't even get that. I was like, is that how he stays alive?
No, hit her, grandpa!
I like
he's dropping the hammer.
I like that guy. He's like, hit that bitch! I'll do it.
It was so shitty looking and like just like broken apart and like where he kept dropping the hammer, but they were crazy enough to keep picking it up, putting it back in his hand, and keep putting it back into his hand, and it was so broken and that it made it really realistic and really fucking eerie.
Well, they kind of went with the guy. I liked the guy at the gas station when you finally figure out that he's in on it too, and he puts her in that like sackcloth or whatever and puts her back, and he's like he's sadistic as fuck because he's riding around. He's like, oh, dude, I know, but I started giggling because he was like, he's like, it's gonna be okay.
But it's how you imagine a fucking crazy person would be if you're actually in that situation. Most movies won't go that fucking far. But yeah, like you're talking about, he's like, it's gonna be okay. Yeah. And then he would stop for a second. Like, and then all of a sudden he'd be like, that's not over.
I thought he was gonna do the Randy Savage elbow drop. It was like, yeah. I mean, when he was in there, the guy was like, they were at the dinner table, and he's like, I ain't gotta take no pleasure in killing. It's just something you gotta do. And he's kind of like showing that he's got some compassion, and the other guys are like, I don't give a fuck what you say.
But it didn't make any sense.
But then he starts laughing.
Yeah, when they're fucking with her, he's laughing. He's like,
well, because I think he's so crazy that he's like, ain't no need to torch the poor girl. And then after that, he's like, it is kind of funny. I mean, when she breaks out and she runs away, and you have that big dramatic exit when she jumps out of the fucking window and she's running and all that stuff. Like, that scene also is another, like, anxiety attack caught on the camera. Because that one, I liked how that truck driver pulled over that big black guy.
Why did he run?
I don't know. He had a truck. He had a fucking semi-truck, but he looked like he could kind of take and maybe he had put up Leatherface.
He ran around the other side of the truck. He's like, I gotta get away. He's like, let's play Chinese fire drill while this big fucking guy's in the woods shaking.
And he left the girl. I mean, you know, you could have been like, you already stopped for. You could have been like, come on, we'll get some help. He was like, fuck you. He was running around. And then, you know, of course, the guy pulled up and she's jumping in the back of the truck, and that was fucking like, that's when your hands get all sweaty and you're like, oh my god. And then Leatherface is like this and he does his dance. And he's like, no.
Let it go.
And then the girl goes fucking, you know, she finally, that acting scene right there when she actually goes and just loses her mind, she goes like, I was like, yeah, that probably would happen.
Just talking about this movie, I love it even more. That whole scene was really fucking pulse-pounding. And I love the whole thing about Leatherface is weird. Like, Leatherface is one of the killers. He's different from Michael and the other ones. He's not even like the worst. Like, the family's the worst, but Leatherface is just kind of like slow. Like, he doesn't have it all together, and he's like a scared animal. So he's like, you can see when he's running into the windows and shit, he's like, what the fuck? He's like, where do these people keep coming from? They're like invading my house, and like that's why he's killing them. But
I like that he slammed the door on the last one. It's like, God damn it, stop!
Yeah.
But he's one of those guys. You're right. He's just like a cage animal. He's just like, it's not like Michael Myers in a force of nature, but in a way he is. They just use him for like a tool.
Someone
he's
brought
a tool.
up the point: why is there no women in this family? Because you've got 3 generations of boys, but no women. And it makes it so when he sits at the dinner table and he's got that makeup and shit on, he looks like Labor just creepy as fuck. Anyways, it makes you wonder too, like what else kind of sick shit is possible.
Well, they had up in that room the grandmother. But she wasn't alive, apparently. She had not had her vampire dust for the day.
But
so,
and this as a release, as like all the shit that it has with it, just the Blu-ray, not the movie, 10 fucking point oh. I mean, because that documentary right here is freaking amazing. And they got, like, they're talking about this movie. This movie was like, everybody got fucked on it. Everybody got fucked with this movie. They did this point scale, like each actor's gonna have this percentage of what they do. But the guy running it sold it to a fucking mobster. He sold it to a mobster, and by the time their paychecks were supposed to come, after working these 24-hour days in the heat and like totally illegal conditions, that they go to get their money, and he's like, well, I sold it to like 10 other companies or whatever, so we own a piece of what this person owns. So everybody got fucked, nobody got paid, the whole thing was marred in fucking controversy and shit, and just a whole bunch of nasty, just ugly shit happened when they were making this movie, and it adds to the Think of the movie. So yeah, if you do get this documentary is awesome. But no, this movie's a fucking 9.5.
That's exactly what I was going to do. 9.5. The only thing I didn't like about it was the I just really didn't care about the actors that much. I mean, not the actors, but the characters. I thought they were kind of like
a long staunch of just like
it was kind of like paste and stitch here. It was like they were basic little character actors, and there was nothing special about it. The best part about it was just the overall feel of the movie, the way they shot it, the way that it looked. The music, the way that they use the music at certain times, and the anxiety attack, shit your pants, fudge sickle time. That's what I love about it.
I think if you're just an average like lackadaisical horror movie goer, like I'm gonna go, oh, this new scary movie's out, Saw 8's out, I'm gonna go see it. I just want to be scared. You might not like this movie because you either hate or love this movie. But I think if you're a real horror fan and like you watch movies because you want something to disturb you, you want something to actually get to you. This movie actually gets to you. And I think that's what makes it so special, even amidst all its like filming problems.
Yeah, I can understand somebody not liking it, kind of, but I mean, at the same time, I think that somebody that wouldn't like it would be more like somebody that would just say it's too fucked up.
It's the opposite of Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie's like, I'm really deep and fucked up, and I like to do nasty shit.
Because he's doing it on purpose.
And all he does is shock factor, like, oh, this is really fucking mean and ugly, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have a rape scene, or I'm gonna have people saying fuck every other sentence on purpose, and I'm gonna show as much gore as possible. This movie takes sickness and disturbing shit, and they don't use like special effects and shit to do it. They actually disturb you without using shock factor. Even though there's shock factor in it, they do it right.
It's like watching High School Musical over and over.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I know that, I think it was, if you look at Rob Zombie, it's like he's doing it on purpose. He wants to make it graphic and shocking for you. Like, he wants to show that to you. The thing is with Tobe Hooper, I'm not saying that he didn't do a lot of things on purpose, because he did. He knew what he was doing, but I'm saying he did it in a more masterful way and more of an undertone way that was like, this is actually what could happen in the, out in the boonies somewhere. And not to mention that, I don't think those guys really knew the limitations for what they had. Yeah. Like, they were on set, they were making this movie, they didn't really know what they had. I mean, probably they didn't, and they were just making this, let's make these fucking scenes that would scare me if I had a nightmare. This would fucking be a nightmare scenario. And that's why,
way more
that's why it worked.
Than people give it credit for.
And Tobe Hooper has one of those guys, like, especially if they had those dead, rotting carcasses there. And if you were an actor, you could be like, holy fucking shit. And they're like, it's dead, rotting carcasses. And you start bombing, and Tobe Hooper's like, film it! I want it filmed. I need the vomit. Yeah, I could see that happening because he just knew he had the right touch of cinematography and cinema magic in it to make it like, okay, it's a movie, but enough of an injection of real world shit to make it disturbing.
Yeah, it feels like you're watching a film reel that Ethan Hawke found in his basement in Sinister. It feels like you're watching. But yeah, so 9.5 for me, 9.5 for you. Question of the guys: how do you feel about Texas Chainsaw Massacre? I used to love the remake, but I'd never seen this before. How do you feel about the remakes, the sequels, the whole like peninsula of Texas Chainsaw Massacre? What is it to you in like your movie love, like your movie horror love?
And my question now is, would you eat that barbecue that guy was selling?
Because it was humans, dude.
I know, but would you? He didn't know that at first. That one Jerry was sitting there going,
I didn't realize this until just now, but I was eating gas station chili dogs while I watched this movie.
You fuck!
They were good. They were only 99 cents.
They were pretty good. Yeah.
So until next time, guys, I'm Mike. He's Jay. Don't go into the barnyard with your zipper down.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie.